Mr. Ron Davis, would you take the witness box, please?
Turn the lights all in his face.
Get the third degree up here today.
You got to swear on the Quran.
No, thank you. Well, good morning, everyone.
Morning. Morning.
I'm excited to be here. Get a chance to share with you a little bit about my vision for our county. I'm especially happy to be here in this meeting. Ms. Sharon seems to bring in some speakers who are always good and on topic and relevant and educational and easy to listen to, and I certainly hope that that reputation continues after I'm done this morning. Jim asked me when I got here, how long are you going to be speaking, Ron? I said, well, I think about 20 minutes. I'm going to take advice from one of my favorite founding fathers, Thomas Jefferson, who said that speeches that are measured by the hour will die within the hour. So I think he was a wise man. So as Ms. Sharon said, my name's Ron Davis. I'm a candidate for Post 1 Commissioner. And a lot of you guys know me from the activism that we've done around the county with the local GOP. I want to give you just a little bit more, maybe background about me, who I am, where I came from. I grew up in a small town east of here in South Carolina. I met my wife. She's here, and I'll introduce you to her in just a minute. I went to Florida for college. I've got a business degree with a focus in computer science from Pensacola Christian College in Pensacola, Florida. Since then, I've got almost 20 years experience working in information technology, designing, building, managing large server and network infrastructures. So I mentioned my family here. My wife Maria is here. She is right over there, lovely lady in the red shirt. We met when we were I was in middle school, and so some people get to say they married their high school sweetheart. I get to say I married my middle school sweetheart. My two kids are here. Some of you guys know them as the Paulding Young Republicans from the activism. They were. Yeah, you remember that. They were active in the Get Out the Vote campaign last year, and they also helped me with some local races, and they volunteer. My daughter Caitlin there is 15, and my son Brett is close enough to 12 that we'll go ahead and call him 12. He'll turn 12 next month. I'm running for Post 1 Commissioner, and I'm running because we need a principled leader who's going to work to lower taxes, provide a good environment for businesses to thrive, and work to restore what is a strained relationship between the people and the government. So in doing that, the first thing I want to talk about is our money. And I appreciate what Teresa had to say about fiscal sanity. That's one of the big issues that I have in this campaign is fiscal sanity. There's a trend in our county, and it's the same trend as what's happening with Hiram. We're balancing our budget with our reserve funds. And reserve funds are great. Because when you have an emergency, when you have something that happens that you didn't expect, you have the money on hand. You don't have to worry, where are we going to get it? What are we going to do? And so we need those reserve funds there in order to be there. Do you guys remember the flood that we had? I know just outside of our neighborhood, right there on Due West Road, there was a section probably 30 or 40 feet wide. That road was just gone. And it was a river running through there. And I remember all the neighbors going down, trying to look over, and I thought, you guys are crazy. I'm not getting anywhere close to that. I don't want to be swimming in it. But we were able to get those roads repaired quickly and well. And that road right now, it's solid. It's a good road. It wasn't a halfway done job. It's because we had the money to do that. And so as we dip into our reserve fund to balance our budget, what we do is we risk our financial security. The security that we have and being able to provide for ourselves and take care of our people is gone. Because that reserve fund, we have no savings account. You know, and it also sends a message to businesses. We want businesses to come here. We want them to come here because they bring jobs, they collect taxes, people move here, we can broaden our tax base. We want businesses to come here, but when we deplete our reserve funds, we're saying to businesses, we're sending a message that says, we have no incentive to provide for our future. We need to be able to send a message that says, hey, businesses, you want to come here, and you want to be here because you can thrive. We know how to take care of our stuff. You look at what Teresa said. I appreciate you talking about that, Teresa, because she talked about how they're going to have to raise taxes on businesses. Every business knows that's what's going to happen. So if you're looking to relocate a business and you say, you know, I'd like to look at Paulding County. Well, if Paulding County has a history of running into the reserves and depleting those funds, the business owner is going to think, what's going to happen when they run out of money? Are they going to tax the people? Are they going to tax me? And so we have to be very careful about that. I've proposed, and I support an approach of budgeting called zero-based budgeting. Every year, we have to account for every dollar in every department. We can't look at the percentage increase. You know, the budget comes out in June, and we look at it, and it's easy to fall into that mindset of, well, this department only had a 2% increase, and this department only had a 3% increase, and you know, if an increase is really big, it might catch an eye, but we have to be careful about that. We need to make sure that we understand that every dollar that the county spends is a taxpayer dollar. We need to be responsible so that we're only spending as much taxes as we have to, because that way we can work to keep taxes low. We will, part of this fiscal sanity that we need is we need decisions that will protect taxpayers. People on the Board of Commissioners make decisions, you've elected them, we've elected them to make decisions with what is our money. We need our interests, our financial interests in the county protected. Teresa mentioned the airport. I'll go ahead and talk about the airport, because if I don't, I know it'll come up in question and answer. Excuse me just a second. The airport. I love the fact that we have an airport there. We need to use that and to develop that and bring in manufacturing and engineering jobs. People can really use that, and that could be a great benefit to the county. When we talk about passenger flights, I see that the viability of that is really tough to swallow, and we hang that risk, that extreme risk, on the taxpayer. We have to be smarter about that, and we need to make decisions that protect our taxpayers. Well, you know, another good example here in the county is our movie studio. That movie studio has lost millions upon millions of dollars, and continues to lose millions upon millions of dollars. See, that was a decision that was made that says we should bring this business in, and when we bring this business in, well, that'll bring jobs and hotels, and it'll be great, and it'll be wonderful. Well, the truth is that when government does that, when government tries to meddle in a market like that, you get a situation like we have where, you know, maybe it wasn't the best time to put that there. Maybe it wasn't the best place to put that. But the decision was made with county money to go ahead and do that, and now we're losing money on it year after year. So we need someone who will stand up for the taxpayer and make wise decisions to plan for our financial future. One of the other things that I'm very passionate about, those of you who know me know I'm very passionate about government transparency. Transparency in government is important. It will protect the integrity of the people's business. When things are done in the open, there's trust. And we need to be able to know that we have a good, solid, transparent government. We should be setting the standard here in Paulding County for how we expect government to behave. Those of you who have worked politics with me, you've worked campaigns alongside me, you know that the absolute best place to impact change is at the local level. You can really have an effect on people at the local level. Up in Congress, it's a lot harder. But down here, we can say this is how we expect it to be. You have easy access to the people that represent you. And we can really set that example here in the county. The good news about transparency and open government is that Georgia has open records laws. And those are great. You can get information. I know a lot of you have made open records requests. You send in the email, you fill out the form and say what you want. And you can get that, and you can see what's going on in government. That's good, but there's a trick to it. And the trick is that you have to know what to ask for. And if you know what you need to ask for, then that's okay. You see something happen in the county, and you say, well, I wonder what that cost. You can make an open records request and go get it. But some things, if you don't know what to ask for, you may never know about them. You guys remember the issue with background checks being run on county employees with taxpayer money. Well, that came to surface because a very broadly worded open records request returned a pile of information. I mean, a literal pile of information. And as people looked through that, they said, what are these charges? See, they would have never known to make a request, to fill out the form and say, I would like to request a copy of all background checks that have been run on citizens for county money, because that should never happen. So when you know what, so when you know what to ask for, it's great, but when there's something going on, you don't know what to ask for, how are you going to know to do that? So this open government, these open records laws, they're great, but that passive approach to transparency does very little. So what we need is a proactive approach. There's a website. Georgia has a website. It's Open Georgia, and it's a open.georgia.gov, I believe. It's open for everyone. And it lists state information that's already public record. So you can see expense reports and invoices and things like that. You just go and look it up. What did State Representative Micah Grabby make last year? You go look it up, it's there. It'll tell you every expense report filed, all of that. You can see it, it's there, and it's viable. I envision a website like that, but for Paulding County. We should just publish this. I mean, this information is already ours. It's mine, it's yours. We should go ahead and just publish this stuff that's already open records.
Like that idea.
Publish it. Make it available for people to be able to see. Make it easy. Make it transparent, literally transparent. Be very proactive with it. We can list expense reports, contracts, invoices, all these other open record information that would be available via open records. Now, it is important to note that some information is not available by open record. Some things with personal information or it has to be redacted. And we can't just publish everything, but there is an awful lot that we can make available and we can make public. Now, a website like that is a big undertaking. It's going to require time and effort, and it's going to take a lot of work. But there are benefits to it. It's going to, like I said earlier, it's going to protect the integrity of our county's business. I know I would never do this, but maybe some of you have. Have you, when you were a kid, did you ever take a cookie out of the cookie jar when you weren't supposed to? Yeah, the laughter says yes. Did you ever do it when somebody was looking? No, I may have tried that once, and but you'll have to ask my mom how that went. But it'll protect that integrity because people can watch and see it easily. It'll work, like I said earlier, to restore that relationship. When there's openness, when there's transparency, there's trust. And trust is built over time. And as you take an approach of being transparent and being open with the people of the county, you build that trust, and it helps restore that relationship. And then on top of all of that, if that weren't good enough, this openness and then this transparency sends that message to the business community. The businesses say, look at how they're doing business in Paulding County. People there are happy. They trust their government. They keep taxes low, as I mentioned earlier, but there's this openness, there's this good relationship in Paulding County, and that's going to be an attractive factor when businesses are looking at opening here or moving here. As I said, that's a big undertaking, a lot of work to do to get to that point. But there is some low-hanging fruit. I was thinking about some things that we can do that maybe improve transparency that are easier just by a change in the way we do some stuff. A couple examples of those. Maybe let's see if we can get the agendas for the Board of Commissioners meetings posted earlier. They're either posted on Friday for a Tuesday meeting. Let's see if we can get them posted earlier. I'd like to look into the possibility of having 2 weeks between a work session where we come together and meet and talk about what's going on in the county and when the commissioners vote on it. So right now, for those of you who don't know, there's a second and fourth Tuesday of the month. There's a commissioners meeting at 10 o'clock. It's a work session where the county heads are there, and they talk about all of the details of the specifics of the bid awards or contracts or things like that. Well, they adjourn about 11:30. They go eat lunch, and they come back and they vote on it all at 2 o'clock. On the fourth Thursday of the month, they come back at 7 o'clock. They get, a couple more hours in there. But there's no real time for any input. The agenda's published on Friday so citizens can see it, and we can see what's being talked about on Tuesday. But I know commissioners sometimes will get pulled into an executive session. And that executive session will go long, and citizens don't even have an opportunity to get to their commissioners before it's time for them to vote on that. 2 weeks gives plenty of time. Commissioners can do the research. Citizens can have feedback. You can even have a town hall meeting if you need to. You can get that scheduled in that time. So that's one thing I'd like to look at doing. Another thing that we can do is we can publish the draft text of resolutions that the commissioners are going to vote on. Those aren't published. Publish them with the agenda. You'll see on the agenda, if you go to these meetings, you see on the agenda, it'll say discussion to adopt resolution 15 dot whatever, and then it'll give a brief 3-line description of what the resolution is. Well, the commissioners have a copy of the resolution. Why can't the people have a copy of the resolution? Put that out there. It's available. If it's not available Friday, if a good draft's not available, publish it Monday. Publish it as soon as it's available. Executive sessions. I'll talk quickly about executive sessions. Open meetings law in Georgia gives commissioners the opportunity to go into an executive session, to take the people's business that is being conducted in public and go behind closed doors. Now they have to vote to do that, and they can't just walk in the back room. It has to be for some specific purposes. But it is taking the people's business out of the sight of the people. Now, it's important that they be able to do that. As important as transparency and openness in government is, it's important that commissioners can be able to do that. Because if there's a lawsuit against the county, and they need to talk with counsel about legal strategy, well, you can't do that in an open meeting because the opponent will just be sitting there taking notes. Like it wouldn't work. So they have to be able to do that. But we can on the agendas, it's always listed executive session for purposes of pending litigation in real estate. Well, let's talk about the litigation. How about executive session, discuss lawsuit John Smith v. Paulding County? That's not revealing anything that's going to tip your hand to the opponent. But it's telling the people, this is what we're doing in executive session. We can't give you the details. There's a reason those have to be concealed. But this is what we're doing. When you look at the real estate, you don't say, for purposes of obtaining this piece of land on this location for this much money. But you can say real estate considering purchase of an acre lot for use by this department or something like that. You don't have to give specific details, but you can give a general description of what's going on. So those are some examples of some of that lower hanging fruit that with just a change of procedure we can do and really be more proactively transparent. As we talk about restoring that relationship with the people and being accountable, I want to talk about commissioner accountability. Town hall meetings are important. They're an opportunity for conversation between an elected official and people. I had a conversation with a person who was a commissioner one time, and I told him, I said, I think it's been a while. I think it would be good for you to have a town hall meeting. And he said, well, yeah, and he was kind of, I had trouble reading him, understanding what he was getting at. He says, well, Ron, I went to one of those one time. He was talking about one of a state representative of ours that was here in the county had done a while back. And he said, I went to one of those one time, and there just wasn't a lot of people there. And I really don't think it's worth the time if there's not going to be a whole lot of people that show up. And I didn't even know how to respond to that. I mean, it's so important that an elected official put himself in front of the people. I mean, I've put myself in front of the people to be elected. If elected, it's vital that I keep myself in front of the people to keep myself accountable. So I'm going to do 3 things for accountability. Number 1 is town hall meetings. I'm going to hold them quarterly. Put them at places around the post. I've already got some good ideas for locations. We'll put them around the post. They'll be, of course, open to anyone, not just people at post 1. I'll invite the other commissioners in. Have them come in. I'll give an update. If they want to give an update, they can give an update. And then we'll take questions. Those of you who were at the town hall meeting up at the courthouse that Tom Graves did, he had that fishbowl approach. I like it. There's no censoring to that, right? You reach in and you pull out a card and you read what's on the card and you talk about it. Give people an opportunity to be able to give feedback. That's critical. It's 4-year, 1 per quarter. But sometimes a more formal town hall meeting isn't the right venue for some issues. Some things require a little more personal approach. So I'm going to announce every 5 weeks, 6 weeks, I'm going to announce the location on Saturday morning where I'm going to be at breakfast. and I'll post it online and send it out to my email list, and anyone, so that anyone wants to know. I'm going to be, for example, I'm going to be up at Chick-fil-A 7:30 to 9 on Saturday morning. Come talk about anything you want to talk about. Whatever's on your mind, whatever issues, if you want to help understanding something that's going on, if you want to give input, if you want to yell at me for an hour and a half, whatever it is, I'm going to be there. So I'll plan to do the town hall meetings quarterly, and those meetings every 5 or 6 weeks. And then with my final piece under commissioner accountability, I'm going to take a page from the playbook of my favorite congressman. And I know it may sound odd that with a congressional approval rate of about 15% that anyone could have a favorite congressman. But my favorite congressman is a gentleman from Michigan. His name is Justin Amash. Justin Amash does a lot of things that I like, but he does one thing that I think is great for being accountable. He posts online every vote he casts, why he cast that vote. So he posts, I voted yes on this because it does this. I voted no on this because it does that. Every single one. You can't get more proactively accountable than that. Here I am, I'm representing you, this is how I'm doing it. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to do just like he does. I think it's a great example. I'm going to post every vote that I make as commissioner online for everybody to see it. You won't have to send me an email, you won't have to call me and say, Ron, why did you vote for that? Or why did you vote against that? Or what was that about? It'll be there, and I'll publish it online. With that, I'm going to start to wrap up a little bit. I would love to have your support. Those of you in Post 1, I would love the opportunity to earn your vote, and I would ask for your support in the May primaries. We have some time, I think, for maybe some questions and answers. Derek.
I really like the idea of a open records website. Understanding that something like that would be a somewhat expensive endeavor, and wouldn't it be cheaper to maybe piggyback off of the Paulding.gov website and just have a new section added to that?
You could totally do that. You could do that. It could be a separate website. It could be a new website.
I would think it would be.
We already have an infrastructure, and we probably could save a lot of money. I don't know the details. I manage these infrastructures for a living, so I don't know the details about what's behind Paulding.gov, if it's hosted somewhere, if we have dedicated servers to it. We're adding all this data. There's going to be a need for storage. There will be a need for some purchase, but we can definitely add it under the existing infrastructure we already have.
Okay.
There's no reason we can't do that. Anybody else? Yes.
A contract was signed with Propeller and the Airport Authority 3 years ago. We've known about their intent to commercialize for 2 years. How many town halls have there been in Paulding County about the commercialization?
I don't know of any.
I would say 0.
I don't know of any. I think I can pretty confidently say that there have been none in Post 1. I don't know that there have been any around other parts of the county.
I was confused because I just saw a video of Chairman Austin speaking to the business community, and he made reference to we're going to have more town halls. So I thought possibly I missed something. Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Jude.
The airports in our country is causing a lot of political problems. So what is your vision when you become a commissioner about the airport?
My vision for the airport?
Yes.
You know, we can use that airport, companies can use that airport. They can bring in these jobs that are manufacturing, engineering jobs. I know I drive by McCollum up in Cobb as I'm on my way over to the Gwinnett Braves games, and I drive right by it, and I see the planes coming in, and I see what that community has become around it. You know, we moved to Georgia. We've been here since '02, and when we moved to Georgia, I took a job working in Kennesaw, and I was working on Barrett Parkway, not half a mile from that airport. And so I've seen over the last 13 years, I see how that area has just come up around that airport. You've got that FedEx distribution center right there, and other people are using it. They've got the Chop House restaurant that's in the airport where you can go and watch planes come in and land. I think the airport there in Cobb is a great example of how general aviation at airport can benefit a community. Yes, sir.
Will you make a across-the-board commitment to never raise the millage rate in Paulding County? Or are there some things that you feel are priority enough to where you have to raise taxes?
I don't want to raise taxes. I can tell you, I absolutely do not want to raise taxes. We can't take that approach. We need to be able to keep our millage rate low. We need to be able to control our expenses, keep our millage rate low. I don't want to keep it where it is. I want it to come down. Anybody?
So the second part of the question is,
Okay.
As property values increase, the hidden tax is that there's a lot more revenue drawn from the residents of Paulding County, even if the millage rate stays the same.
Yes.
So would you be willing to cut the millage rate in order to prevent there being a linear tax increase? Would you cut
Yes.
the millage rate and keep it revenue neutral?
Yes. Absolutely. Vernon?
Yeah, and I'd like to add that, you know, it's a state law, but you don't do that, you have to report it as a tax increase.
It is a tax increase, but I'll take it even a step further. You know, when property values come down, there are those who will argue, well, we didn't roll the millage rate back. The millage rate stays the same. Wait, no, I got that backwards. They would argue, excuse me, I got my words mixed up. They would argue that whenever the property values change and they don't change the millage rate and you end up paying more money, they say, well, that's not a tax increase. I disagree. I say that is a tax increase.
Thank you, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
It's like back a few years ago, our property values went down, but the millage rates went up. So when you got your taxes, you didn't really see a difference, but yet you did have an increase in taxes because your values were less. So that there was always, when you go up and anytime you raise the millage rate, it's a tax increase.
Absolutely.
So it's all about, values.
Anybody else? Okay, I will say, can I make a couple of campaign announcements real quick?
Sure.
Got some exciting stuff going on with the campaign. Those of you who want to help, I have some T-shirts. Caitlin, I'll need you to grab those out of the truck once we're done. We have some T-shirts for volunteers. If you want to sign up and help, we've got T-shirts for that. If you'd like to be on my email list for campaign updates and things of that nature, see me after the meeting. I've got some business cards. They look like this. There's a stack of them here on the table, and my wife has a few more there, and I've got plenty. So if these get depleted, I have plenty of those. Those of you who know people in Post 1, feel free to take a card. It's got some of my platform pieces there, and it's also got my email and phone number, and as well as the website electrondavis.com. We have a fundraiser happening. It's the first time I get to announce it. We just finished the details on that. November the 6th, it's a Friday, it's going to be from 4 to 7 p.m. It's going to be at Head Down Products up in Dallas, and we're going to have a rifle to be raffled off, and so you'll be seeing some information from me about that coming up. So those of you Second Amendment folks, be excited about that.
25, how much is the ticket?
The raffle tickets will be $25.
Okay.
Do we have any other questions? Ms. Sharon, I'm going to turn this back over to you. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you.